Hello and welcome to Fully Charged. Rory Reid here, and today I want to talk to you about electric cars for the family. Now we're seeing a broad spectrum of EVs right now, from superminis to supersized SUVs, and quite a few of them have the ability to handle the many requirements of family life. And that is what we're going to be covering in this episode. We're focusing our attention on family-friendly EVs, so forget about the 0 to 60 times for a minute. Let's keep it real and get down to the nitty-gritty of roof rails, boot space, and ISOfix, all the grown-up stuff. All right, I've made a short list. Here they are. Now, there are obviously loads of cars that I could have stuck on this list, but these are my picks. And let's start with the hatchback group. There's the Nissan Leaf, the Renault Zoe, and the Peugeot e-208. Then we've got the only saloon in the bunch, the Tesla Model 3. You don't really see saloon cars that much these days, do you? Then, because everyone's in love with SUVs, I've got to throw in some SUVs, and the ones that I would deem worthy of my consideration would be the Peugeot e-2008, the Kia e-Niro, Kia Soul EV, Hyundai Kona Electric, MG ZS EV, Audi e-tron, Tesla Model Y, Tesla Model X, Jaguar I-Pace, and Mercedes EQC. Right, so those are the contenders, and obviously I'm not going to review each and every one of those individually, otherwise I think we'd be here all day, and I'm sure that nobody wants to look at me for that long. I don't want to look at me for that long. But what I think we should do, what I think would make most sense, is if I talk about the specific features or requirements that families are going to be interested in, then I can tell you which of the cars I've listed above ticks the most boxes. Let's start with the most obvious one, boot space and practicality. Obviously, not all families are the same, but the bigger the family, then the bigger the need for space. Mine, there's 5 of us, so we need a lot of room, and that means that quite a few of these on the list are going to get ruled out immediately. But if there's one thing, one area that I think we can all agree on, it's that boot space is very important. So let's take a look at which one of our shortlist has the best boot capacity. I've done the research, and here's what I've seen. Teslas, even though they're on the more pricey end of the spectrum, bit of a luxury purchase, some might argue, they actually have the practicality thing down to a T. The most spacious electric car you can buy right now, and I'm sure someone will correct me if I'm wrong, is the Model X. You could get lost in the boot of a Tesla Model X. It's got 1,410 litres plus another 187 litres in the front. The Model Y is going to be big as well. So far, we only know the US measurements for total space, 66 cubic feet, and that figure is with the rear seats folded down. But for reference, the Model 3 is 30 cubic feet, so the Y is going to be more than double. That's going to look good. The next biggest in terms of practicality is going to be the Audi e-tron, followed by the Jaguar I-Pace, and then the Mercedes EQC. All the SUVs basically, so no surprises there. Everything else on the list is on the smaller side. Right, so that's boot space. Let's talk about the number of seats now, and importantly, ISOfix. Now, every car on this list has 5 seats, so if there's 5 of you in your crew, or 4 and a bit, then you're in luck here. Now, for this category, let's look at the number of cars that have 5 seats. Now, this is useful for a couple of reasons. Sometimes the middle seat in the rear isn't really big enough for a human, and also maybe if you've got more than 5 of you in your family, that's definitely going to come in handy. Once again, Teslas are in a league of their own here. The Model X and the Model Y both have 7 seats. There are no other electric cars with 7 seats unless you start to look at vans and hybrids. Now, ISOfix, again, all the EVs on my shortlist have a minimum of 2 seats with an ISOfix point, and that's good if you've got a couple of young kids. So let's take a look at all the cars that have gone above and beyond. Out of its 5 seats, the Renault Zoe has 3 ISOfix points. The Tesla Model X has 7 seats with 4 ISOfix points. Now, ISOfix information for the Model Y hasn't been released as yet, but if I was a betting man, then I'd definitely predict that it will be the same as the Model X. And if not, why not? Roof rails, that's interesting. I don't recommend that you strap your most annoying child to the roof, even if it would definitely make those journeys a little bit more tolerable. But maybe you want to carry a roof box or bicycles, and luckily All the EVs that I've mentioned here have some form of roof storage option, whether it's a raised roof bar or a fixed point behind a flap that lets you attach roof bars, or the option to use roof bars that clamp into the door jambs. The EVs on this list all have roof rails either as standard or as an option. So it doesn't matter if you buy a Peugeot E2008 or a Kia e-Niro or a Kia Soul EV or a Hyundai Kona electric or a Nissan Leaf or an MG ZS EV, an Audi e-tron or a e-tron Sportback. I think you're good to go. Safety? I don't think I need to expand too much on why we want our family cars to be safe, and that applies to ICE cars as well as EVs. So we're going to approach this round slightly differently to the last one, because I think you'll be glad to hear that the majority of EVs on this list received a 5 out of 5 star Euro NCAP rating, but a few didn't. So this is the name and shame round. Here are the ones that only got 4 stars. The Peugeot E2008, Kia e-Niro, Kia Soul EV and Hyundai Kona electric all received 4 out of 5. Now get me wrong, it's not the end of the world if you buy one of these. 4 is a very good score. The 5 is an excellent score. Right, 2 more categories to go, starting with how quickly do they charge and how far do they go? Listen, EVs with a longer range and quicker charge times will offer you much more flexibility, especially when it comes to taking those longer journeys. Sometimes you're going to want to stop off and feed the troops, maybe change a few nappies, which can take ages. That's ideal for charging up your EV, but you don't want to be doing that over and over and over again. So it's worth knowing which EVs have the longest range and the best recharging times on this shortlist. Unsurprisingly, Teslas do quite well here. The Model X will go 285 miles and recharges at up to 200 kilowatts DC. The Model Y, where that turns up, will charge even quicker, 250 kilowatts DC with a 260 mile range. Credit to the Model 3 as well, which will gobble up 250 kilowatts DC. That's up to 1,000 miles an hour of recharging. I should also mention that the Tesla supercharger network is brilliant as well. In my experience, they're the quickest, the slickest, and the most reliable. Non-Teslas tend to have smaller driving range, so all the cars I'm going to mention next have a range below 250 kilowatts and they can't charge quite as fast. The Audi e-tron will do 188 miles, although it can receive 155 kilowatts. The Jaguar I-Pace can, allegedly, I've never managed this myself, it can do apparently 292 miles and 104 kilowatts of recharging. But listen, most of the cars on this list are probably going to be charged up at home on your 7 kilowatt charger overnight. I just thought that it would be a good idea to let you guys know what options you have for properly speedy top-ups, which might come in handy on long journeys. All right, now the most important area, price. There is a previous video on Fully Charged that shows off the most affordable EVs on this channel, so make sure you give that a watch. But that was then, this is now, and you might want to know which of the EVs on this list will give you the best bang for your buck today. Now, none of these are cheap, but the cheapest is the MG ZS EV at £22,500. That is sensational value. It's not blessed with the most features in the world, but it is blessed with cheapness, which is highly important in today's day and age. The Renault Zoe, that's a decent price as well, just over £26,000. It's not the biggest car in the group, but if you've got a smallish family and you want to get with the EV program, then it's definitely worth having a look at. So is actually the Kia e-Niro at just under £35,000. That's more than decent. Or if you want a slice of that Elon pie, then a Model 3 will set you back around £40,000. So that's it. In conclusion, hopefully I've showed you that there are multiple cars that would make a great family car right now. And at the top end of the spectrum, you've got the Teslas, obviously, which on balance give you options for the most space and the fastest charging capability at the highest price. That's got to be said. But then there are some really good options just below that, like the Audi e-tron, the Jaguar I-Pace, and the Merc EQC that would also be really solid family cars with a premium badge too. And also, let's not forget about cars like the MG ZS, which is very affordable, as well as all-rounders like the Kia e-Niro. The choice for families right now is just brilliant. So if you're out there looking for a new EV for you and yours, hopefully this will have given you some really good insight. I do also work for Auto Trader UK on youtube.com/Auto Trader UK. So feel free to go and check me out over there as well. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave us a comment down below. Let me know which one of these cars you'd go for. And it feels like we're very close now to bringing you some actual videos from outside in the open world. I'm very much looking forward to doing that very, very shortly. And I hope you're looking forward to seeing them too. So for now, thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.